Thanks again, once again, for tuning in to Porch Talk. And as you can see, we're still not on my porch. We're with Natalie here. And she's going to do part 2 of her battle with alcoholism. Okay. So, Natalie, continue on what you were saying.
Well, I was gaining that weight. And, you know, in high school, I mean, we went to high school together. You know what I'm saying? I was never a big person. I was, you know, average size. Well, I mean, to me, 130 was average, but I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely was. I was like 135.
Yeah, okay. You know, okay. So, you know,
you were
small. Right. Yeah. So, you know, to go from 130 to like 200 or something pounds is like,
Jesus.
And I didn't recognize myself in the mirror. Like, that was the scary part. Like, it was kind of like the only thing that I recognized were my eyes. And but everything else I didn't recognize it myself. My self-esteem physically went down, never mentally though. My grandmother, my grandparents have always just been very just that classical conditioning of I am somebody. So there is nothing anybody could ever tell me to say that I can't do or I'm not, because there's no. But the physical aspect of it, because I looked so poor, I felt poor. The way I dressed, to me, compared to what I was dressing like now to then, you know, there weren't any jeans. You know, I went from a size 30 to a 42 waist size. So big jeans didn't look right on me. To me, they didn't fit right on me. So now I'm just wearing sweats all the time, and you know, I'm out of breath, and you know, I'm just not feeling good about myself. I'm going to the hospital like every 6 months. I'm being hospitalized. My B12 is low. My iron is low. Everything is just low. You know what I'm saying? My thyroid is out of whack, and all these things. I'm not thinking alcohol has anything to do with any of this. I'm just thinking that, hey, shit is what it is. But that's not what it was. All these things were alcohol related. All these things were triggering the B12, low B12. If you look it up, alcohol usage lowers your B12. It lowers your iron. It lowers all of this in your body. You lose your nutrients. My hair starts turning gray. I'm 25 with gray hair.
Wow.
I don't gray. That's not a genetic thing in my family. Nobody in my family gets gray hair at 25. My mom didn't start getting gray hair till she was like 50, 52. So my hair's turning gray because I'm losing all these nutrients. But that's how much alcohol I was intaking, to the point where all these nutrients are gone. Now I'm not even eating. I'm just drinking.
Oh my God.
Because in my mind, I mean, alcohol is potatoes. So it's starch. It's like I don't have to eat. I just drink all day. So now I'm drinking, I'm throwing up. I'm drinking and I'm throwing up. I'm drinking and I'm throwing up, and whatever. You know, it is what it is. I just want to die. Like, and every day I woke up, like, why did I wake up? Like, why do you keep waking me up for me to keep doing this over and over and over again? And it was something that it was just crazy in my relationships with my family. With my parents. I'm not even gonna say my family. My parents were just strained. They really, without them, I would not be, like, I would probably be dead. My parents did way more than what they had to in dealing with my whole situation. But they were always there. And when I tell people, and people have babies now, like, when you're a parent for life. There is no 18 and out. You are a parent for life.
That's so true.
Period. This whole you're 18, like, you still in your adult lessons. Your 20s is nothing but your adult lessons. You are learning how to be an adult in your 20s. So when you get to your 30s, that's supposed to be your prime, because you're supposed to have everything together. You understand what I'm saying?
Supposed to.
Supposed to.
Keyword.
You know what I'm saying? But my parents really were my lifeline. I mean, it was times where in my mind I'm like, I got $10 in my pocket. I can go to the store and get some lunch meat and some bread, some cheese, and you know what I'm saying, something to drink. Or I can go get this bottle and get this 40. It was times I went to bed hungry because I'd rather drink So I just go to bed hungry, or I go to my parents' house where they're at work and they didn't know, and I'm making sandwiches, or I'm taking food out of their refrigerator to put in mine because I couldn't afford it, because I'd rather put my money to alcohol.
My God.
So, but that made sense to me. It was like a system for me. And then the weight. One day, I woke up, I wasn't feeling well. I knew I hadn't drank anything in 2 days because I hadn't felt well in 2 days. So the detoxing was starting. I had a gig that day. I really wasn't feeling well. I woke up, I went to the hospital, Botsford. They told me my B12 was a little low. They gave me a B12 shot. Sent me back home. Still really wasn't feeling well. DJ that day. It felt like my feet were detaching from my body. I felt like I just felt like my body was shutting down, so I felt like death. But I'm standing there and I'm detoxing, and I'm thinking that's what it is. But I'm crying as I'm DJing, and nobody's seeing these tears but my girl, because she was there with me, and she's seeing my tears, and you know, nobody knows what's going on. And I do. That's why I say, like, DJing, I would DJ till I die, because I was gonna die while I was DJing that day. But that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna finish it. We done. We go to Beaumont. They just say you're severely dehydrated. I said, okay. But as women, we know our bodies. You know, I knew something like, no, this ain't no dehydration feeling. I know what dehydration feels like. This is something. This ain't dehydration. I hadn't went to the doctor just for a physical in 10 years. Because, like, in my mind, the alcohol, it kills germs. So I felt like because I was drinking this alcohol, there was no need for me to have to go to the doctor, because these germs were being killed. This is my mind. This is where my mental is going. Because I know people listening like, what the hell? But this is people. An addict's mind is not right. It's not like a regular person's mind. We don't think the same.
And I'm not an addict, but I can kind of understand that, though, for whatever reason.
Yeah, but it kind of makes sense, though.
Right,
you know?
right. But it's killing you too.
Exactly. So I go there, and I mean, you know, the doctor, I could tell he was just looking at me like she looked like a hot mess, because I just look bad. Okay. And he said that to this day, like, when I first met you, you look, I mean, I didn't know if you was going to make it out the doctor's office. So they did my blood, and they found sugar in my urine, and that's when he asked me about diabetes, and I said diabetes does not run in my family. It's not something that, you know, nobody in my family that I know of has it. So he said, oh, well, you know, it's a possibility, it might not be, but it was like a large amount of sugar. So they took my blood, and he said, I'm gonna call you in a couple of days once the blood work come back. Probably less than 24 hours. He called me like, okay, so your sugar is 225. Normal sugar rate between like 70 and 120. 120 might be a little too high, but and mine is 220, 225, something like that. And he said you are classified as type 2 diabetic. And I paused, and I just felt disgusted with myself because I did this to myself. But that had nothing to do with me not drinking. Like, that had absolutely nothing to do. Diabetes did not scare me to make me stop drinking, because I know 1,000,000,001 people who drink and diabetic. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying that was not something that was like, oh my God, I gotta stop drinking.
Right.
What stopped me drinking to lead me into being sober was the intervention. I call it the grandparents' intervention through God. And all my grandparents are deceased. And at the time, the last person to pass was my grandfather. And my grandparents came to me in a dream. And God was really trying to figure out how he was going to reach me to stop drinking. He was throwing me all these signs, all types of signs. I crashed my car. And then the next morning, bruised and banged up, I got up and walked to the liquor store to get more liquor. because that made sense to me. Like, well, I already lost my car. Might as well just go ahead and get drunk. So I went there, drinking, and I woken up, I cooked, got drunk, forgot I had the stove on with the food, passed out, drunk, woke up, the whole house full of smoke. God kept saving me. Didn't know why at the time. And that's why I tell people I shouldn't be here. Because these stories are like legit, for real, like stories. Like on some like you really should have died type stories. God didn't know any other way because he knew the diabetes was there. He knew at this point, now you on borrowed time. What am I supposed to do to get you to listen to me? How am I supposed to get you to hear me and understand that you don't have to kill yourself? You don't have to drink. You don't have to do this. Like, there's so many other things, there's so many opportunities waiting out there for you. But how do I get her to see this? Because she is not listening. The only people in the world, and I love my parents, but it's a different type of respect for your parents versus your grandparents. It's a different respect. It's a different type of love for your grandparents versus your parents. It just is. I mean, and it's not a bad thing. It's just different. My grandparents, all of them are like my heart and soul. I've never disrespected them, never ever looked at them wrong, never thought a bad thought about them. My grandparents came to me in my dreams. And my grandmother was the one. My grandmother passed 2012. My sister would tell me, oh, my B, because that's what we call her, came to visit me in my dreams. But she would never come visit me. And I'm saying this on record, on video. I'm her favorite. Okay? So I don't understand why she was coming to visit her and not me. You feel me? So it pissed me off. And so when I saw her, she grabbed me, and she looked so beautiful. She had a purple dress, gown on, and beads and hair, and she was glowing. And like I said, when she first came to me, I thought she was Jesus because it was just this bright light, and I'm just like, oh God, this is it, like for real. And it was her. And all I wanted to do was ask her, like, why did you leave? In the manner in which you left without even saying goodbye. Why didn't you tell me you were sick? Why didn't you tell me you had heart issues? Why didn't you let us know these things? Because we didn't know that she had a heart attack. We didn't know she had problems. They knew. She just didn't tell us. So I was angry because I felt like I could have went to go visit you. We stayed in 2 different states. I could have done more. Why didn't you? So those are all the questions I wanted to ask her. And before I got the opportunity to even ask her, she just grabbed me and just hugged me. She just took everything out of me. All of that anger, all of that fear, frustration, whatever. And when it was over, that didn't matter to me anymore. Because number one, I knew she was okay. That was my main thing. I knew that she was okay. It gave me something to look forward to in the afterlife. And I was like, cool. But my grandfather is the one. He was the last person in the dream. And my grandfather was a straight shooter. He told it like it was. He just said how it was. He didn't care. So, but he also was a candy eater. So he came out the bathroom eating a bag of candy corn. And he looked at me and he said, do you want to go to glory? And I looked at him weird and I said, what? Glory? And I realized what he was saying. And I said, no, sir. And then he looked at me and he just said, well, you keep doing what you're doing. And he looked at me and he popped a candy corn in his mouth and he walked away. He closed the door to the bathroom. And I woke up and I cried for like 30, 45 minutes. I called my girl, told her like the dream, and I told her like on March 25th, 2015, I told her, I'm done. I'm not drinking anymore. I promise to God, I don't want to die. I do not want to die. Like, I realized at that moment when all that anger and all that frustration, I was angry and frustrated about things that were not in my control, that had nothing to do with me. wasn't my fault. And I let it go.
Wow.
And once you let go of things and really let it go, people be like, I let it go. No, because you still mad about it. You still talking about it. You still, when you speak on it, you got this real nasty tone, so you can't possibly be over it. But when you over something, nothing, it doesn't matter. So then I don't, why am I drinking?
Right.
I never picked up another bottle. There was no AA. There was no rehab. There was no counseling. I went through withdrawals for about a month and a half to 2 every day. My stomach will hurt. I'll be sweating. And I'll be at work, standing up, just sweating. Or people, what's wrong with you? Oh no, I don't feel good. Stomach cramping. And we as women know what cramps feel like, okay?
Yeah.
So, cramping. Can't keep still. Sweating profusely. Sweating it all out.
That poison.
That poison just was take my body. My body was swollen. My hands used to swell up. My lips would swell up for no reason. I could be talking to you right now, my lip would just swell up. And I used to tell people, oh, I got allergies and stuff like that. But I knew what it was. I knew that my body was swelling up because my intake of alcohol.
I didn't know it did all of that.
Yeah, my lips and my feet were swollen. And I started having red blotches. And I went to the hospital and they were looking at me like a science experiment because nobody can really knew what the hell was going on. It drinking so much, it lowered my white cell count. I was in a cancer ward because my white cell count was so low, and they didn't know why. They didn't know why my iron was little to non-existent. I had to get iron infusions for 2 weeks straight, and I had to get B12 infusions 2 weeks straight because they said I had little to none in me. So now I started getting B12 shots, and nobody knows, oh, your body doesn't produce B12, which is happens. Some people I do know have to get B12 injections because their body does not produce it. But my body produced it. But every time I produced it, I was drinking it away. So there was little to none. And when you have no B12 in your body, it feels like you're walking around drunk. It feels like you're off. So I was hospitalized. I have so many hospital bills from the ER because of just alcoholism. Just because of the drinking. My bills, and they come for you. Trust me, they come for you. Them bill people, they come for you. Just because of the drinking. It takes over you. It manifests within itself. And so, at that point, once I made that conscious decision to stop drinking, a lot of things changed. And I know you want to know what changed. And I'm going to tell y'all what changed.
We'll get back with you guys in the third video. Thanks again, once again, for watching. Make sure you follow me here every week. Rocky Road Productions, LLC Porch Talk. Follow me on Instagram, Rocky Road Productions, LLC Porch Talk.
Porch Talk.
Facebook, Love Ebony. Thanks again.